Before we do the pledge tonight, I would like to have everybody give a moment of thought or prayer for the people of Ukraine and their fight for continued freedom. Thank you. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Rask?
Here.
Boggs?
Here.
Fleming?
Here.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Nancy. This is the time of the meeting that we're having a public hearing on the budget. And at the end of that meeting, at the end of the public hearing, we would anticipate approving the budget. Are there any comments from the audience on the budget?
What was that, Mr. Mayor? I couldn't understand you.
I'm sorry, we're having a public hearing on the city budget.
Oh, I just couldn't hear what you just heard around if you made open comments. I apologize.
Okay. Are there any comments from the audience?
So the new budget is available for the year.
It's been in the office for 10 days. Yeah.
Oh, does that include the raises for the officers?
This is for the 21-22 city budget that we're already in. We have not done the 22-23 yet.
So they wouldn't get raises until next year? I'm
This
just
budget
asking.
is for this past year that we're still in.
Okay.
So there has not been any raises.
Okay, so are we gonna be talking about that anytime soon to put them into the budget, or?
I'm gonna work on it with the department heads, and yes, it'll be discussed.
The new budget will go into effect May 1.
But at least next year, they'll be able to get a raise, right?
Well, we've given raises every year, so I would
I hate
anticipate.
to tell you, but everything's going up the road. And we don't get it. I met a bagger down at Kroger that makes more money than we offer an officer. That is disgraceful. A bagger. How many of you guys want these guys to leave and go become baggers? Because they make more money. I guarantee it's a safer job.
This will all be in next year's discussion.
Are there any other questions on the budget? Hearing none, thank you very much. I would anticipate, encourage a motion from someone to approve the minutes of the last regular meeting. A motion by Joy Boggs, seconded by? Seconded by Chuck. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Rollin correspondence?
You're getting faster than I am. I have a letter that is attention to the Mayor Kowal. And it says, this letter is to inform you that I am resigning my position on the Farmington City Council effective immediately. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Sincerely, David Black. And we'll need to have confirmation that you'll accept the letter of resignation.
Is there a motion by another councilman to accept the resignation? Motion by Joey, seconded by Chuck. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
Mr. Kevlis,
Yeah, since Mr. Black jumped out, and apparently we don't have anybody else, I'm throwing my name in the hat.
I'll so
See,
denote that.
since that isn't in my district, right? Because he was my city council member. And is there any kind of certain qualifications, because I don't have any kind of criminal background? So I would like to know if there's a certain qualification, since I am the first person to apparently throw the name in the hat.
It is
That's the
something that,
question.
it is something that will be brought to the next city council, and it is approved by the city council as far as who's the appointment to.
Well, because it's not somebody that, or are we gonna have, a special vote? So we can turn around and at least, I'm willing to take the position, not get paid. If you turn around and have to pay me, you can give all the money to the food pantry, our local food pantry. I don't need, the
Well,
thing is we don't need another yes man. That's what keeps
Aaron,
coming to me.
Aaron,
All weekend, I'll wait.
this is
all
not a
weekend.
comment area, okay, sir?
Okay, I'll wait till the comment area.
Okay, thank you. The next correspondence I have is from the Farmington Central High School. And it's exciting to have the opportunity to celebrate prom with our students Saturday, May 7th, 2022. Following the dance and after prom event will be held at the high school for all eligible prom attendees. The goal of this event is to provide our students with an enjoyable, safe place to be on prime night. The event will run from midnight till 5 a.m. with activities, food, and prizes. Our letter is to request any sort of donation from you and or your organization in order to make this event successful as it has been in the past. Donations are necessary to keep our students safe. And they list a list of items that they're looking for.
Did we do gift cards last year?
Last year, we did 5 $20 gift cards. We donated $100.
I can make a motion that we do exactly what we done last year. Donate $5 $20 gift cards. Whether you want to do it for each gas station in town, however you want to do it. Or do 4 and $25 each.
Been a motion by Joey Bogues to give $100 again in some form of gift card to the prom.
Second.
And the second by Nate. Any question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Let's do
I'm sorry.
roll call.
Roll call, please. Thank you.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Grass,
Yes.
Mayor, do you want to vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's all I have for communications.
Thank you, Ron. General comment period? Aaron?
Now, as I was stating, I've gotten phone calls all weekend. I've had people stop by my house all freaking weekend. They don't want another yes man. We're tired of having people always say yes to all the stupid ideas and no common sense inside here. Okay? There's more than enough evidence. I can produce more than enough evidence. Put it this way, I talked to you guys as attorney today. And you guys can take your $85,000 and take away my constitutional rights and shove it up your ass. And that's exactly what I told them. Don't care. And now, if everybody wants to see what they actually have been offering me, because guarantee you, there ain't no damn judge in this entire world that would even have accepted that offer, any one of their offers of violating my rights, okay? But if you want to see it, I'm going to be putting it in as an affidavit, not only against the city, but I'm also going to be putting it in an affidavit for my lawsuit against the Youngs. See, I'm kind of boomeranging. They're not just accountable just for the city. They're also accountable for the Youngs. And they can be held accountable. And I've talked to some pretty intelligent legal professionals. I turn around and says, some of their offers kind of seem like bribery. So, that's anybody that's actually interested will be able to find it at the courthouse. And let me know prior to, and I'll let you know if it's there yet. Because like I said, I just talked to you guys as attorney. So now I'll be more than happy to just take your $269,000 and keep my house. Because like I said, Farmington, I got all over where, no, you can't interrupt me. Farmington I got it on your minutes that you, Mr. Mayor, says Farmington needs new business, especially up here on the east side. So guess what? New Farmington sex adult toy store, right there. They're doing it doggy style right next door, so hey, and at least anybody that comes in, and then I can get a liquor license, you know, hey, that'd be cool. Because anybody that wanted to drink and get lucky, hey, they just buy something. Go home, they get lucky. That's what you want. That's what you pushed me to. But you guys got no idea how far you pushed me. And you're gonna find out soon. Because it's coming. And your lawyer knows it's coming. And he doesn't like it, but it's all legal. Everything I do is legal. So just remember that. You should have took my offer when I gave it to you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kiefer.
Are there any other comments? Thank you very much. Dave, Public Works report, please.
First off, does any of the council people have a question about public works? Otherwise, I'll run through it briefly. Okay, sewers. We're still flushing. That's an ongoing thing. We did have one repair on the main, on South Main Street, on the sewer main, which was done last week. And we cleaned and cambered portions of South Main Street also, which helped us find the problem with that. Streets, hopefully we're done with plowing snow. April, we always are good for one more, but you never know. Potholes have been filled, more have showed up. Our Durapatcher is ready. I'm waiting for the weather to straighten out and some pea gravel. We'll be able to get out there and do more permanent patching on that. Parks, we are slowly opening them up. Weather's been very nice, and we've gotten swings out, et cetera, but there's no water been turned on or bathrooms open yet. Cemetery, burials continue. Cleanup week at the cemetery is April 4th through the 8th. If there's anything that people want, they need to get it before April 4th. The Only American project are still going on. Teeth done, repairs are done, salt supply is still good. And I promised you some quotes on backhoes, which this gets a little interesting here. I talked with Caterpillar, John Deere, and Case. Gave them all the specs that we needed to have. I got a quote back from Caterpillar of $132,166, but they did not meet the one critical spec that we have, and that is width of the rear tires, 80 inches or less. And we need that for the cemetery so we can get between the headstones. So they did not meet that spec, they are out of the, any chance of getting it. John Deere, they didn't bother to return a quote. They did not meet the specs of underneath 80 inches either, and that's why they didn't bother to return the quote to us. So what I have left is Case. It's a very similar unit to what we have. All of our buckets for the backhoe will fit on it, our hammer will fit on it, so there's no additional cost to buy any more buckets or a brand new hammer and sell that one, et cetera. Their price, as you can see on your sheet, came in at $102,500. And that's after the trade-in with the power tilt head and then a 4-corner scroll. So that's where we are at on that. Don't know that we need to go to sealed bids, and I've already talked with the 3. Not if the council agrees to not do it, we don't have to do that. Because nobody can meet the spec except for Case. So that's where we're at right now. How are we gonna pay for it? Majority is gonna come out of our sewer fund. is what we talked about, Ron and I talked about, and Teresa. About 82,000 out of there. Cemetery fund, we talked about probably taking 10,000 out of that. And then from our emulsion sales, we made over $10,000 over and above. That was our profit from emulsions, and I'd like to use that money to pay for the rest of it. So that's where we're at there. So I'd like to be able to move forward before the end of the month to tell Case yes, otherwise the price will go.
Do they have to do the table?
No, it's still gonna be a 12-week minimum, but we can lock it in
Yeah.
now.
Well, it's better than 12 months.
Yes, it is, yes, it is, and everything is that way. You know, another way we can do it. So that's where we're at. Now, I don't know, all of you think we need to do a sealed bid on it.
I think it's supposed to be, isn't it, over?
It's over the $25,000.
Yeah.
Now, last time, what we were told was that as long as the council agreed to it, we did not have to do that. And there's only one machine that fits the specs.
I'm not too familiar with that exception.
So, maybe we can check on that.
We'll
for
pursue
sure,
it.
But that's what Bill told us last time.
Okay.
If that is okay, can I go ahead with this?
Do we need a vote from the council to proceed, depending upon what we're told?
I would say put it out for bids if we have to. If not, it should be on the next agenda. We shouldn't be making a decision as to paying the expenditure right now.
It would have to be included in next year's budget, which is not a problem, because it will be before we would have to pay for it.
So if we go into April, price goes up. That's what I'm getting at.
Understand?
You know, I don't know if there's a way we can handle this.
I'll make conversations tomorrow on it. If it does not, then it could be, but I'd rather to have the full city council here. That's up to what the council wants to do.
That the method that the council proceed would like to use. Is that okay, Nick?
Yeah, unless we need to, I mean, if you need to get it right away, we need to call a special meeting to approve it, if we need to. So that he can go forward if we don't need to do the sealed bids.
We could have a special meeting if we needed to have it.
And we put a motion, I put a motion forward that we can proceed if we don't need the sealed bids.
That's what I'm looking
And then allow him to make the purchase without the sealed bids if we don't need them. If we do need them, then that take precedent.
I'm still not comfortable with authorizing an expense that's not on the agenda right now. So if we proceed and we don't need sealed bids, we never voted on an agenda item.
Okay, that's all I've got. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for bringing it to us, Dave.
Make a motion to approve the public works.
Thank you, Joey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Ronald, the TIF report, please.
Beginning balance for the TIF was $594,464.07. We made our quarterly payment to Economic Development Group and Jacob and Klein of $9,011.64. Transfer to reimburse engineering fees for the street program that we did this summer, and a TIF grant for residential for $2,000. Ending balance is $567,898.93.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the TIF report? Old business, Ron.
We have a discussion, possible action on the Hannah City Rails to Trails. And we want to give the floor to Mr. Winteroff, let him give an update of where we're at and what's going on, what direction we need to go.
Thank you.
Hello, Fred.
Just a quick update, and then I'll answer any questions that you might have. I think you guys have been discussing this last couple of meetings that you've had, so you're pretty well up to date. Under the federal STB filings that we have to purchase the railroad corridor from the Union Pacific, we have a deadline of March 30th, which is next week. We have filed for an extension of that deadline. We filed back in February, and we still have not heard from the Surface Transportation Board whether or not they will grant that extension. In the meantime, we are proceeding as if that extension is not going to be granted. And that's why we are asking for the communities that are helping us with the purchase, Farmington and Peoria County, to also give their support if Hannah City decides to go ahead and complete the purchase with the Union Pacific by March 30th. Peoria County has already indicated that they will complete the purchase with us. They'll give us the funds that they have promised for the purchase. Farmington has also agreed to that. Hannah City has also agreed to that. So we have the funds to complete the purchase of the rail corridor. The hesitancy right now is whether or not Hannah City is able to take on the full liability, because the Hannah City was the agency that applied for the federal RTP grant. The purchase of the property will have to be in the name of Hannah City, which puts all of the liability on Hannah City. And so what we have asked is if the city of Farmington would enter into another intergovernmental agreement with the village of Hannah City to agree to move forward with us after the purchase for help in the maintenance and development of the trail. And I think you have a copy of that agreement with you in your package. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. The village of Hannah City will be voting next Monday whether or not to complete the purchase with the Union Pacific Railroad at that time. They're waiting to see what kind of support the other communities will give us.
And Peoria is already designed.
Right, they are in support of the trail, and they'll give us any support that we need on as far as the purchase of it. But due to their budgetary constraints in that, they are not going forward with us with the actual development and maintenance of the trail.
And when you first originally came and presented this to us, you had informed us that, it would be up to the city on whether or not we wanted to do any improvements on this. And then you came back stating that you wanted to form a committee to where we're gonna have to throw in money every year to do improvements that you said that we didn't have to do. Is that correct?
Right, what the plan is going forward is, after the purchase, there will have to be at least some signage and some blocking off of some areas that are not transversable to for people to walk on, just for their own safety. So there's going to be some expense there. What we had talked about previously was forming a commission to oversee all of the maintenance and general operation of the trail, and solicit private donations for that. That is still in the works. What we're asking for from Farmington is some seed money for the maintenance to help us, number one, do the signage and make the trail safe. Once we purchase the trail, we don't have to improve it right away. We have several years time frame before we have to spend money to improve it, but we do have to sign it, make it a natural trail, and block off areas so that people don't get hurt on it. So there's some of that general maintenance. The other thing is to go forward and solicit money for the improvement. A lot of the grants and things that are out there are 80-20 match, so we need some seed money to help with that 20% match. That's what we're asking for.
Thank you.
And expand this commission. Fred, originally it was representatives from each of both the cities.
Right. Basically what we have discussed here recently, and this, this has been discussed over several years, and things keep changing depending on who's being involved, who's not. We discussed today with the entities that are involved that basically if the purchase goes through, if we are able to purchase this from the Union Pacific, then that commission would be formed. Farmington and Hannah City would have 2 representatives on that commission, voting representatives on that commission. Peoria County would have 1 representative since they are assisting in the purchase of the property. And then the rest of the board would be made up of non-voting members that would be advisory to the actual voting members of the board.
So what would happen if Farmington decided that they would just want to be one member? We don't want to have to worry about the liability either.
Then it would be up to the Hannah City Board to decide whether or not they are willing to move forward on their own with the full liability of that.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the council at this time? We will need to have a vote to, first of all, approve our portion of the purchase of the rails. And that amount would be $111,819.07. Does someone care to make a motion to that effect?
The purchase, I would make a motion for the purchase of the property.
Okay. Motion by Nate Fleming, seconded by? Is there a second to the motion?
If this doesn't pass, then I would say the program is going to be pretty well niched. This is the amount we discussed previous council meetings that we would support that.
Not hearing a second motion. Not hearing a second, the motion will die.
I'd almost like to make a motion that we wait until Hannah City approves theirs and we'll put it on our agenda.
Mayor, comment?
Go ahead, Fred.
You go right ahead. I know there's a time issue.
Right. The time issue is, the time issue, and I'm pulling up my calendar here to show what the time issue is. this purchase from the Union Pacific has to be completed by March 30th, which is next Wednesday. The Hannah City Village Board will be meeting next Monday in a special meeting to approve that purchase. If Farmington and Peoria County do not agree to provide their portion of the funds to make the purchase, then Hannah City would not be able to move forward. We do not have the money to be able to move forward. So if you move, if you vote today to move forward on the purchase, the agreed upon price, your percentage of the agreed upon price, then Hannah City can make their decision at that time whether or not to purchase the corridor from the Union Pacific and accept the liability and the maintenance going forward. If you wait for Hannah City to make their decision on the 28th, there is not enough time for the purchase to go through because we have to sign the papers, the purchase agreement on, it's all set up for the 29th and make the payment so that it is completed by the 30th. So that's why they had to set a special meeting for the 28th to make this purchase. So,
Thank you. I'll go ahead and second that motion just because I know the other two council members that aren't here are in favor of it.
Second by Joey Boggs. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Fleming, Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Joey. And as to the sharing agreement, this is a separate intergovernmental agreement for phase 2. And as Fred explained, there will be another intergovernmental agreement that will delineate further how the committee is to be actually structured, whether or not Peoria County will have a representative, and firm up the idea that each municipality would also have 2 representatives, and further detail the costs of sharing. But in the past, we've talked about $12,000 to $15,000 a year for maintenance costs. Fred's council has approved in their budget for next year $1,000 per month, which is what we could keep ours at. So the next item would be to call for the question of whether or not we intend to enter into the intergovernmental agreement for phase 2 at this time, knowing that another intergovernmental agreement is forthcoming. Is there a motion to accept that?
I think we need to table that one.
Does the intergovernmental agreement for maintenance need to be in place as well as the time of the purchase, Fred?
it does not.
Okay.
The other council members concur to table, is that fine?
Yes.
Fine? Good, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Your business, please, Roland.
The first item I have is a first reading, possible action on ordinance number 2022-05 is for the annual budget that we had the hearing on. I would entertain a motion to read by title only.
So
Motion by Chuck to read by title only. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Joey. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Rask,
yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
For the city of Farmington, ordinance number 2022-05 is an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the city of Farmington for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2021 and ending April 30th, 2022. That's your first reading. Ordinance number 2022-05.
A motion to waive the second reading of ordinance 2022-05.
So moved.
Motion by Chuck, seconded by Nate. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Rask,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2022-05.
A motion by Joey Boggs to approve ordinance 2022-05. Is there a second to that? Second by Chuck. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm getting my documents. Okay. I'll get with those with you, Nancy. The next item I have is a first reading possible action on ordinance 2022-06, which is a TIF redevelopment with Kiefer Properties. Both of these next two ordinances were approved by the CEDC and it was approved by the city council. But when we processed it on the work that was done, it had to come to an ordinance for each one of them. So these have already been approved by all the city council. So ordinance number 2022-06 is a TIF redevelopment with Kiefer Properties LLC.
Make the motion that we read by title only.
Motion to read by title only by Joey Boggs. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Chuck. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
For the city of Farmington, Illinois, ordinance number 2022-06 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a TIF redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Farmington and Kiefer Properties LLC under the Farmington Tax Increment Financing District. That is your first reading of 2022-06.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance number 2022-06.
Motion to waive the second reading by Joey. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Chuck. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming, Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2022-06.
And a motion to approve 2022-06 by Joey, seconded by Chuck. Roll call, please.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next ordinance I have is a first reading. Possible action on ordinance 22-07 is a TIF redevelopment with Tobiah Monzo. And again, it had to be brought back to the council with an ordinance. So I would be happy to read it by title only.
So moved.
Motion by Nate to read by title only. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
And second. Thank you, Chuck. Roll call, please.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Boggs,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
For the city of Farmington, Illinois, ordinance number 2022-07 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a TIF redevelopment agreement by and between the city of Farmington and Tobias Monzo with Farmington Tax Increment Financing District.
I'd make a motion that we waive the second reading for ordinance number 2022-07.
Motion to waive the second reading has been made by Joey Boggs. Is there a second?
Second.
seconded by Chuck. Roll call, please, Nancy.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2022-07.
A motion to approve 2022-07 by Joey, seconded by
Second.
Chuck also. Roll call, please.
Boggs,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Rask,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
The next item I have under new business is a possible action on a mayoral appointment.
And I have at this time no mayoral appointment. My intent was to have a chance to let all the aldermen know that we do have a vacancy, and if there are suggestions, please forward them for discussion. That's the way I decided to handle it this time. So if you have any good ideas for Ward 3, Ward 3,
Ward 3,
Ward 3, please share them.
but you need to, the appointment of the financial.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, on that part, thank you. Because of Dave Black's resignation, we need to have someone else who is authorized to sign checks, and therefore that person would also be finance chairman. Dave Rose has agreed to do that, be finance chairman, as long as he can finish some projects that he has started with the parks. And then the next aldermanic appointment can assume the parks and recs, if that's all right.
Sure.
So I would need to have an appointment approved, thank you, for Dave Rose as finance chairman.
So moved.
Motion by Joey, seconded by Chuck. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
And as far as the other, as far as opening up, to suggestions on a new alder person on Ward 3,
Yes.
we had one other person run against Mr. Black. My understanding, Shane lost by 17 points or votes or whatever. I'd like to suggest that we offer her the position since she ran for the alderman position.
Okay. That would be remain under consideration then, thank you. And if you have other suggestions, not necessarily at this time, well, I'd be sure we'll share them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The last item I have is a declaration again from the mayor over the state of emergency.
Pursuant to the authority vested in the office of mayor by the Illinois Municipal Code, section 511-1-6, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act, section 330511, and ordinance 2020-06 of the city of Farmington, I, Kent Kowal, mayor of the city of Farmington, do hereby declare that a local state of emergency exists as of this date, April 22, 2020, and shall continue until such time as provided in ordinance 2020-06, and that the nature of the emergency is a nationwide pandemic of the COVID-19 virus. And this is the time of the meeting for committee reports. Joey Boggs on public safety. Do you have anything?
Nothing to report, sir.
Okay. And Nate on streets and sidewalks?
I don't have anything, but I know David left and we done last time with the police with the update for upcoming salaries and stuff. Can you do the same thing for the city employees? Get comparable pays of what other cities are paying so we can make sure that we are not below in any way and that we're not going to lose somebody to somebody else?
I can, and I will, but I think it goes way beyond that. We have to compare apples to apples. I don't always do, but when we look at public works departments and other towns. But yes, I will.
Great, thank you.
And Chuck on public grounds and buildings.
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you very much. This is another opportunity for public meeting, general comments, reports. Anybody, Jane?
Was there a figure given from the Farnsworth group on what this would cost to get the bike path up to par?
If you don't mind, I'll.
Go ahead.
The Farnsworth group did a modified phase one environmental study of the trail. They walked the major portion of the trail, and they did not find any
Environmental,
noticeable, evidence of any environmental hazards along that trail. They also looked at some of the structures and indicated that some of the structures do need some repair. But there hasn't been a train there since early '80s. They said the biggest problem that they saw along the trail was litter and trash, people using it as dumping areas. And so, that will have to be cleaned up.
So technically, someone could go out right now and walk this trail with no problem, or ride their whatever bikes.
No. For two reasons. One, it would be trespassing, and two, there's still a lot of brush and stuff has grown up through the.
They didn't give any amount for that to clean it up and get it to par.
No, that was not part of the scope of their.
Well, no offense, but I could have went through and done this, did this.
Well, what you're seeing is just a preliminary report. There is a major report coming that will outline everything that they saw.
Under the same amount of money that was paid for this study?
It's within that. This was a verbal report that they gave us because of the time frame. It's going to take them several weeks to finish up and document everything that they did. This report was just a verbal report that they gave us because of the short time frame we were with.
And can you tell us what that cost for that report?
That's $16,000.
Okay, and then this written report in depth will be included in that
That's included in that
16,000?
16,000.
Okay. Oh, I have one more, please. Is there a ceiling on the amount of money that the council can okay to spend without public, like a referendum or something? Is there a ceiling on the amount? Like tonight, it's 111,000 or whatever for the bike trail, and 100,000 plus for the end loader. Can they spend $500,000? I'm just wondering where the cap is, where the public is involved in.
in order to support the general funds, those monies come from property tax or sales tax. The property taxes, we have to have a public hearing on it. If we increase it more than 5%, there has to be a public hearing before we can raise anybody's property taxes. Typically, anything over 25,000 is to get a sealed bid. But we're gonna
Forgo that.
foresee that. Part of my job and as well as the council people is that the decisions you make are supported by the funds that the city's restricted because of monies coming in. All these have been discussed before.
Right.
And there are funds to cover it.
Okay. So there is really no cap, except $25,000 would be a sealed bid. You know, and otherwise you can spend whatever. I'm just trying to get a handle on, you know, what you're available, what you can do, what's, you can buy whatever you want.
This is, no. if we could buy everything we wanted,
You know what I mean, come on.
it's based on a black, uh, that I have given this council for the last 12 years, is we don't spend money we don't have. So I'm not
With the money
evading
you
it.
do have, you're able to spend it without any public input, except when they have the meetings here.
That's why it's always brought at a public meeting when everybody's here.
That's all I need, thank you.
Yes.
First thing, to answer your question, see, we got unlimited funds because we just borrow our own money through the Bank of Farmington. So the mayor gets a profit because he's already admitted that he makes money off of his stock options. So of course, he's gonna make sure that, hey, let's push all this stuff through, come borrow your money.
Aaron,
There's already
enough.
plenty of evidence that shows that that's where we get all of our loans from. Everything that comes through there, Bank of Farmington. So don't worry about that money. You know, one way or the other, we'll get it. Now, Nathan,
Yes.
to deal with your question. You know what? Long time ago, before you were ever inside here, which I know about before I even lived in Farmington, or maybe when I first moved to Farmington and stuff like that, Farmington was trying to work out a deal with the union laborers, okay, which would have been Pekin local. That's not my local, okay? Because my VA wouldn't have fucked it up, okay? Apparently their VA wasn't on the ball. But the thing was about union laborers, and I'm gonna tell you, we can take on the police force, we can take on our road maintenance, and everybody makes the same amount of money, unless you wanna pay them more money, okay? That's a great thing. They got health benefits, they'll have annuity, they'll have, insurance, okay, health benefits, freaking annuities, they'll have a retirement, everybody gets paid the same. The only thing you have to worry about is paying the workman's comp. Somebody gets hurt, an officer gets shot or something, you're gonna have to pay for it. But other than that, but then it's even across the board for all of them. You can't turn around and say you're discriminating if everybody's paid even across the board. So that means that if we have somebody that is promoted, say in the police department, you can pay him more money because he was promoted. But that doesn't mean that every Tom, Dick, and Harry that we hire is gonna turn around and be able to get to that level. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is equally treated. That way Dave's employees don't feel that they're getting left out. And our police department don't feel like they're getting left out. I'm just bringing it up. It was brought up way, way long time ago. I don't know, maybe you were here, Joey, maybe you weren't. I don't know. I damn well know that I got relics for about the mayor being around all the way back as an alderman, so I'm sure he knows what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just saying, even across the board, but that way we're giving them better benefits. Hell, Joey, you might want to quit camping. Just being honest. I got pretty damn good benefits and I make pretty good salary. I'm just saying, okay? And since I'm talking to you for 1 minute, well, maybe a little longer than a minute, I was so proud of you. I'm serious. I was so proud of you asking questions. Actually, you know what, Mr. Rask, I've never, ever given you a compliment. Ever given you a compliment. There's only 2 times that you've ever impressed me. 2 times, and I can name them. Tonight was one of them, for a minute. For a minute.
I don't live for you, Larry.
I don't give a shit. But I'm just saying,
Okay.
when you tabled about a new city building, I was very proud of you that night. Because no, you were using common sense. That's what it was. Common sense. That's all that I've ever asked out of anybody. Common sense. What she was asking tonight, that was common sense. Because I guarantee you, if I ask this guy questions I want to ask him, like how are we going to secure people's safety on there? Are there going to be cameras? Are there going to be lights? How fast is going to be the response time if somebody gets hurt out there on this? I guarantee you that that's part of your little study. All over public news, 2 years ago, 2 girls got raped on a damn walkway. Nobody If it wasn't for her cell phone, we wouldn't know shit. But nobody thinks about that. We're just gonna go out there and snowplow that thing so somebody don't trip over all that damn snow. Guarantee you, I can't even get the sidewalks all the way up to the school damn plow. Simple things. Kid. I hate calling you kid all the time, but I have to call you kid because these guys are too cheap to buy you your own damn name tag. Okay. But I'll tell you what, I was very proud of you tonight too. You showed absolute ethics. That's very light inside this room. But you showed something when you stopped them. I was proud of you, but I was disappointed when you didn't stop them with all the peer pressure that went on. Joey and Rask over here. Second. I'm glad I got all this on video. I can't wait to turn that over to a judge. That's just crazy.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done. I want to turn around and at least thank Nathan
Good.
for at least thinking about our police department. Now I'm done.
Thank you, Mr.
Are there any other comments from the audience? I'm sorry, yes.
Is there an update on the corridor study?
No, I've not heard back from Kathy Brown nor Cole as to funding. I haven't heard a word from them.
I have a question. Long ago, we had a lawsuit happening. Did that ever get taken care of
No,
with the dog?
I have not heard.
I haven't got any updates on that one either.
The dog?
Yeah,
No, I don't know anything about that.
Anybody can check on that for us?
because that's been a long time.
Extremely long.
It's
A year.
at the court.
Pardon?
It's at the court.
Last I heard, it was being appealed. So it might be stalled in the appeals process.
how much money does that cost us?
I don't have any numbers on it.
Well, maybe the next time they come up here, you might be able to answer that question for me.
It's possible. I don't know if I can find it.
I know how much an appeal costs, believe me, especially if you're paying a lawyer. So I would like
Are
to
there
know.
any other comments?
Hey, over there.
Andy?
I'm sorry.
I just got one thing to ask of the city. Recently, I was just advised the other day that a good friend of mine and where we purchased Qualat, he trained and everything, he passed away, and I was wondering, I asked if we could send flowers. I have the address and everything, so.
I'm sure. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Sorry about that.
The eggs are from Lisa for your program.
And that's about done too. Really.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Chuck, seconded by Nate. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you.